We hear of people dying every day, right? Celebrity deaths aren't a novelty either. What we don't usually hear is a celebrity or dead person having lived life wearing jewelry that was supposed to protect him or her from dying, unless it was on some natural causes type ish. Which brings me to the curious case of unknown Gringo. Reports are that at about 12:30 a.m. on March 10, 2023, the dancehall artist was sitting in his Toyota Crown car in Rock District in his Trelawny hometown when he was attacked by two armed men and shot to death. Hypothetically, unknown Gringo should have been untouchable. He wore 4 guard rings which he believed warded off evil intentions, and as he told me, he never took them off. So what exactly happened, and why did he feel the need for that level of protection anyway? I was introduced to unknown Gringo in 2019 thanks to media all-rounder Claude Mills. I was working at the Gleaner and Star at the time and was pursuing stories surrounding the growing popularity of gathering references in dancehall music. I can't remember how Claude got roped in, but I remember talking to him on the phone and him saying, "Hey, you know who wears guard rings and could talk about this? Unknown Gringo." So I got his number and I was surprised that he was actually willing to talk about it on the record. At the same time, I understood that he wasn't a popular artist, so having attention, even if controversial, would water his brand presence. Given name Franz Morris, unknown Gringo, who was 39 at the time of his death, had been trying to get his big break in music for more than a decade. He started off as Franchino, an artist who did reggae music, which wasn't surprising as he was really a singer at heart. According to his former publicist, Ralston Barrett, he went dancehall because he didn't feel like he was getting the type of attention that he deserved. He felt that he could make a greater impact in the dancehall. Hence No Face Unknown, the mysterious dancehall artist who wore a mask, complementing the era when Allure and Stunts went side by side, from Vybz Kartel bleaching his skin to Alkaline sporting big-ass contact lens. The story gets better. Not only was he parading around wearing a mask, but he reportedly did it because he was a hero of sorts who rescued relatives from a fire, leaving him with facial scars. He released some songs and caught the attention of media houses, but still didn't quite break through. Then came his third and final iteration, Unknown Gringo. To properly frame this gathering conversation, we have to talk about Obeah. In earlier years, Obeah's existence in Jamaican pop culture formed part of folklore tradition and various African retention. It was narrated as something positive that we inherited from our ancestors, and it spoke to our power and intelligence as Black people. As time passed and different generations and cultures revised Obeah, some aspects of the form and narration were lost. No, there had always been a negative perception of Obeah, but it came from colonizers, not from our people. In the evolution of Obeah, we see where the negative perception now prevails from Black people who find Obeah suspicious, evil, demonic, and threatening. But in support of that, we've also seen where the reason to practice Obeah has evolved from merely healing our people and standing up against white oppressors to stifling our brothers and sisters and scarring our very own. Accompanying this shift was the proliferation and publicizing of underworld elements like Freemasonry, the Illuminati, and guard rings. The truth is, the guard rings have been around for centuries. Perhaps the leading and most popular guard ring figure is L.W.D. Lawrence, who had a whole business in the 1900s which supplied magical and occult products like guard rings by mail. The company still exists and has a chain of guard rings that claim to attract wealth, love, respect, and of course protection. It is from the Lawrence's business model that several loadermen have flourished in Jamaica, offering personalized guard rings to whomever desires it. Unknown Gringo was one such person who thought he needed not 1, but 4 guard rings. He told me he had experienced a series of strange events which led to him visiting a spiritual leader who prepared his first guard ring. He felt like death was chasing him and he'd tried everything from God to medical doctors before resorting to the spiritual leader. I was sleeping and things came over me like a shadow and say, "Oh, you hard for dead, so. I try everything for kill you and you can't dead. I ball out. It was not a dream. I pray many times, but there are certain things that are above our level that we don't understand. You go to doctors and them run tests and don't find anything. Referring to the spiritual leader, he said, "The Bible tells you to seek a physician and they protect you from evil." For the life of me, I couldn't quite find that in the Bible, so if y'all know of that verse, educate me in the comments. But now we have some context behind why he adorned himself with these rings, which again, he said he never removed. Not only did he feel death was chasing him, he also felt like his rise in music was attracting bad mind people and said the rings ward off evil spirits. Now, we did get into the cost of these supposedly invincibility rings, which he said he paid $35,000 each. That's like $227 per ring. I've heard some people say them get tricked into paying $335,000 and it's a knockoff ring. Them will tell you say you're invincible and by the time you quit, you did. I'd go on to interview unknown Gringo again a couple months later in 2019 when he was feuding with Sade. Coincidentally, when he was promoting a forthcoming EP, The Return of the Unknown Gringo. It's the same EP he was working on when he died. I actually reached out to him in January 2020 as I noticed he'd cleared his social media and hadn't released music in months. I wanted to know where his mind was and what he was working on, but that story didn't materialize. I do find it eyebrow-raising that he'd been working on the same 7-track EP since 2019, when he told me he'd already recorded 4 of the songs and had intended to release it that November. What was happening in his life between that time until his death, which caused a delay in the project? Trelawny police are still investigating the circumstances surrounding his death, and this video is in no way postulating a theory about the cause of his demise. Claude described him as a decent human being, humble, intelligent, and slow to anger, but he was also clearly someone who felt he was a target of death and sought every avenue to prevent that. The story, if anything, brings into focus the construct of belief kill, belief cure, and its correspondence. When people talk about Biggie and Tupac, a popular topic is how often they spoke and rapped about dying early, almost attracting death to them. How true is it that we attract what we put into the universe? Can we manifest our greatest fears by preoccupying ourselves with them? And if you're to say yes, does that also mean we can manifest our biggest dreams by being obsessed with them? Or is it as simple as what's meant to be is bound to be? Let's talk in the comments. Until next time, like, share, and subscribe if you dig the vibe.